and then I bit him again. This time he was awake and he felt it. His face started to go red and I was sure I'd poisoned him.
Excuse me, the fuck did you just say?
I was sure I'd poisoned him.
Welcome back for another video. This video is going to be about this retarded girl who thinks she can become poisonous by eating scorpions for breakfast. I know that sounds retarded, right? Who else agrees with me? But anyway, we're just going to get started and get into this retarded story. Let's play that video.
Most people eat toast or cereal for breakfast, but I'm not most people.
You are part of the retarded people. And that's the group you're staying at.
I eat scorpions for breakfast.
Retarded.
You see, my brother had an accident. He was helping my dad fix the roof on our house, but then he fell. He hit his head really badly.
My ears burn!
But he survived. He banged his head so hard on the ground that it's hard for me to say this, but I don't feel safe around him. Right after it happened and he got discharged from the hospital, our parents went out to buy some groceries.
Okay, well what the hell does this have to do with the story? Like, you are dragging out the video and I came here for the part you eat scorpions for breakfast. I'm not sure how this grocery shopping had to do with your goddamn story.
They left me home alone with him, and I was listening to music in my room. Suddenly, I felt something sharp on my ankle, and when I looked down, my brother was biting me. He bit so hard, he actually drew blood.
Nut.
I screamed, but he wouldn't let go. I eventually had to swing my leg back and forth so that he'd stop. It was like he'd become a wild animal. I told my parents about it as soon as they got home, and they shouted at me. They told me I was supposed to look after him and that it's not.
As we see here, we have too much filler, as you see this play in the background. So what we're going to do is just skip ahead to the point where she talks about getting to the point of eating scorpions for breakfast, because I want to see that instead of this fillers you have. Okay, we're going to skip now.
I'd lie in bed at night listening to him screaming and laughing and banging his fists on my wall. If I hadn't been so afraid, I'd have felt sorry for him. But then I'd look down at my ankle and see the scar from the bite, and I realized I had to do something to protect myself. I suggested they move him to a facility for people with brain damage, and my dad said that if I didn't shut up, he'd put me in a facility. Fine then, I'd only look out for myself then. If he hurt them too, then it was their fault.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're still with the filler. Can we get to the point already?
One day I was babysitting him and he kept glaring at me. His eyes were rolling around and he looked like he wanted to kill me. This had to end. I tried to distract myself by watching TV, and that's when a nature documentary caught my attention. It was about scorpions.
We're finally here, ladies and gentlemen. We have found the scorpion part of the video. I have been waiting 3 minutes so far, and I finally got what I wanted. Lord Jesus, you have served us right. Wait, what?
Specifically, bark scorpions, the most poisonous in the whole of the U.S. Their sting can lead to numbness and vomiting for up to 72 hours. I don't know why, but after watching the show, I couldn't stop thinking about it. What would it be like to be that poisonous?
It means getting shot with the police because you're not normal.
In that moment, I almost envied those scorpions. No one could hurt them.
Are you sure about that?
I started researching, and the next day I went out to try and find one. I'd never...
You're insane, bro. I want to find poisonous scorpions that could kill me. You are insane, bro.
Seen one in real life before, but I knew exactly where I could find them. The show said they liked citrus trees, and right down the road there was a citrus farm. I went there after school and asked the man who owned the farm if I could take a walk around. He seemed suspicious and asked me if I was planning on stealing his fruit. I said, no, I just want to find some scorpions, actually. He looked shocked. Then he asked me to follow him. He led me to the back of a big shed and pointed towards a tank. Inside were dozens of scorpions. I couldn't believe it. I ran over and stuck my nose up against the glass. It looked so cool. Can I buy some? I asked him. Buy? Huh. You can have them for free. Saves me killing them later. Poisonous, nasty things that they are, he said. That day was my lucky day. He put them into a shoebox for me and told me to be really careful because if they stung me, I could die. I walked home with the box and found an old fish tank we had. I put them all in there, but as I was...
Okay, why the hell are you pouring scorpions your direction? this is how you get stung. And he said, do not get stung. But no, I want to point them in front of me like a retard. No wonder you think you get poisonous off of eating scorpion.
Pouring them in, one of them got away. Without even thinking, I jumped on it. Ooh, I heard the crunch sound and I shivered. And then I had another thought. I'd read that you could eat them. My parents weren't home yet, and my brother was at our grandma's, so I went downstairs and poured some oil into a pan. Then I fried the scorpion and cut off its stinger. I couldn't believe it. I was actually about to eat a scorpion. I even filmed myself. I could be famous, I thought.
Well, you are famous, well, for being a retard.
Tasted like popcorn. I swallowed it in a few bites and waited to see if anything happened, but I felt fine. I decided to upload the video to my Instagram. I only had like 50 followers, but still. And then later that night, I decided to try something. I crept into my brother's room.
Yo, she's rapist. She's rapist. Sweet home Alabama, she's a rapist. Not only is she a rapist, that's her brother as well. Oh my god, yo.
When he was already fast asleep, his toes were sticking out of the end of his bed. I bit down on his big toe and waited. It was just a little bite. I wanted to see if I was poisonous now.
You're not going to get poisonous from eating a scorpion. That's not how humans work.
But instead, something worse happened. He kicked me in the face. My nose started bleeding. He didn't even know he'd done it. He was still asleep. So much for being poisonous. I just need to eat more and try again. The next morning, I woke up and I was actually craving scorpions. We had phys ed that day, and the show had said they were a good protein source. This time, I chose a smaller one. I was so scared my mom would walk in, so I did it as quickly as possible. But then I heard someone on the stairs. It was my brother. Oh no. I quickly turned the gas off and threw the scorpion in my mouth. It was still moving, and I was about to spit it out, but it was too late. It was crawling down my throat. Ooh, I felt like I was gonna choke. I grabbed a glass of water and washed it down. Well, it was inside me now. There was nothing I could do about it. My brother spat his tongue out at me, and suddenly I grabbed him and told him,
You kissed your mother with that mouth?
I'd never done that before, and it shocked me. I didn't know I was even capable of speaking to him like that. And then I bit him again. This time he was awake and he felt it. His face started to go red and I was sure I'd poisoned him. But instead, he started screaming and ran to wake up Mom and Dad. Well, at least he run away and not bitten me back. Maybe it was working after all. But oh my gosh, I hadn't cut the stinger off. I'd eaten a scorpion that was semi-raw and that still had its stinger on it. Now I was probably going to be vomiting. Suddenly, I had this weird feeling wash over me. It wasn't sickness though. It was power.
This is how I can tell the poison is getting to her. Her idiocy is coming out of her now. Nothing will stop it. And nothing will stop it.
Like I was the one in control now, not my brother. Maybe this was how I could protect myself. So that's why I started eating scorpions for breakfast every morning.
Instead of me saying this myself, let Dr. Phil do it for me.
Shut the hell up, bitch.
It was too risky to cook them in the kitchen, so I decided to just eat them raw. I mean, I'd had no bad side effects, although I always cut the stinger off. I'm not that stupid.
Shut the hell up, bitch.
I ate a particularly big scorpion one morning, and then at school that day, I heard two girls whispering about my brother when I walked by. Even though my brother annoyed me, it wasn't his fault. So I decided to get them back for this. The next day, I watched as they opened their lockers at exactly the same time. I'll never forget their screams. They echoed through the corridor, and one of the scorpions actually looked like it was chasing them. I laughed so hard. Although, it meant I'd wasted two of them. Oh well, plenty more where they came from. It was...
As you see here, I have cut the video short due to how boring the animation video is. So we're just gonna wrap it up here and upload. I hope you got hope. Before you do that, well, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and join my Discord server in the description below. I'll see you guys next time.
It was crazy that I felt fine eating them.
Shut the hell up, bitch.
The truth.